In football, heroes are worshipped, but villains are never forgotten. Today, we expose the most hated players for every Premier League club. Some cross the line, others never stood a chance, so get ready for the drama and tell us in the comment which one you hate the most. For Manchester United, we have Carlos Tevez. Carlos Tevez was incredible for Manchester United in his 2 years at the club, but he decided to join Manchester City due to a lack of game time, despite playing more than Dimitar Berbatov and Wayne Rooney. United fans never forgave Tevez for his betrayal, and City's welcome to Manchester sign for Tevez didn't help either. What do you think, Manchester United fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Arsenal, we have Emmanuel Adebayor. Adebayor made over 100 appearances for Arsenal before switching to Premier League rivals Manchester City in 2009. He took a reduction in minutes for more money. He is the most hated player, if you didn't already know, because he scored against his former club and decided to run to the other end of the pitch to knee slide in front of the Arsenal fans. What do you think, Arsenal fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Liverpool, we have El-Hadji Diouf. Diouf was brought in to fire Liverpool to Premier League title in 2002, but his lack of goals and terrible attitude quickly led him to become enemy number one. He had a habit of spitting at people and regularly bumping heads with Steven Gerrard. When you mess with Gerrard, Liverpool fans will quickly hate you. What do you think, Liverpool fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Newcastle United, we have Michael Owen. Newcastle United broke their transfer record by signing Michael Owen from Real Madrid in 2005, and all he did to repay them was get them relegated and complain for the rest of his career about joining Newcastle in the first place. His war of words with Alan Shearer was a tipping point for Newcastle fans. What do you think, Newcastle fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Chelsea, we have Thibaut Courtois. Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois became enemy number one for Chelsea fans because he left the club to join the Spanish champions. According to Squawka, he declared Real Madrid the greatest club in the world and refused to turn up to preseason training to force a move to Madrid. What do you think, Chelsea fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Manchester City, we have James Milner. Milner was a reliable and versatile player for Manchester City, but angered fans when he moved to rivals Liverpool in 2015 on a free transfer. Although he cited a desire for more playing time and a preferred midfield role, many City fans viewed the move as a step down. His subsequent success at Liverpool, plus some of his comments in the media, further strained his relationship with some sections of the City fan base. What do you think, Manchester City fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Tottenham, we have Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell did the unthinkable by leaving Tottenham to join Arsenal in 2001, but his manner quickly made him the most hated former Spurs player. Campbell insisted he would never leave Spurs, but became an Arsenal player the next day. Brutal. What do you think, Tottenham fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For West Ham United, we have Paul Ince. According to 90 Minutes, Paul Ince graduated from the West Ham Academy in the late 1980s, but relegation turned things sour. Following 1989, he made one appearance with the Hammers before being pictured wearing a Manchester United top before the deal went through. The Judas label was thrown around, and his son Tom Ince still gets stick today. What do you think, West Ham United fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Aston Villa, we have Fabian Delph. Fabian Delph was captain of Aston Villa in 2015 and made a statement declaring his loyalty to the club despite interest from Manchester City. A week later, Delph signed for City, upsetting fans for his betrayal and lies in the statement. He is widely seen as a snake by Villa fans for his U-turn and the way he left the team. What do you think, Aston Villa fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Everton, we have Nick Barmby. Everton fans will automatically hate any player leaving their club to join their cross-city rivals. Still, the fact that their star player, Nick Barmby, was so adamant about joining Liverpool means Everton fans hate him more than anyone else. What do you think, Everton fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Leicester City, we have Dennis Wise. Dennis Wise's stay at Leicester City was short and memorable for all the wrong reasons. In his first preseason, Wise was sent home for breaking Callum Davidson's nose during an argument, and Leicester tore up his contract, reportedly worth £3 million. Wise tried to take Leicester to court, but the Foxes won the case. What do you think, Leicester City fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Brighton, we have Glenn Murray. Glenn Murray is one of Brighton's greatest ever strikers, scoring 111 goals in 287 games for Seagulls. However, Murray joined Brighton's biggest rivals, Crystal Palace, in 2011 in a backstabbing moment some fans haven't gotten over. He left Brighton and helped Palace get promoted to the Premier League. What do you think, Brighton fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Wolves, we have Henri Camara. Henri Camara was gold in his first season for Wolves, winning the 2003-04 Player of the Season award. However, everything went sour for the striker after he refused to play for the club to try and force a move to Celtic. When he failed, he insisted he wouldn't waste his time at the club. The fans haven't forgotten that. What do you think, Wolves fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Crystal Palace, we have Neil Ruddock. A Millwall fan joining Crystal Palace was already a terrible idea, and Neil Ruddock felt the full force of the Palace faithful when he joined in 2000. Ruddock's terrible attitude brought him continued hatred from the fans, and the persistent red cards from kicking out and abusing referees didn't help. What do you think, Crystal Palace fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Fulham, we have Harvey Elliott. Elliott was one of the most promising teenagers in the world of Fulham, but rather than signing a pro deal and staying in West London, he left for Liverpool in 2019. His departure angered Fulham fans, who believe he left too soon, without giving back to the club that nurtured him. Additionally, they felt they deserved a much higher compensation fee than they received. What do you think, Fulham fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Southampton, we have Dani Osvaldo. Dani Osvaldo had so much promise when he joined Southampton, but his antics away from the spotlight made his time at the club a nightmare. Saints fans can't stand a former striker after he headbutted Saints legend Jose Font. He was suspended by the club and immediately shipped out. What do you think, Southampton fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Ipswich Town, we have Marcus Bent. Mark has been impressed during his first year at Ipswich Town, despite them being relegated at the end of the 2001 to 2002 season. He stayed on briefly in the Championship before moving to Leicester City on loan, leaving Ipswich fans feeling he hadn't fully committed to helping the club return to the top flight. Eventually, he left for Everton on a permanent deal, far from being a fan favorite. What do you think, Ipswich Town fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Bournemouth, we have Ryan Fraser. Fraser angered Bournemouth fans during the 2019-20 season by refusing to sign a short-term extension to help the club fight relegation after the COVID-19 break. He left the club as a free agent after running down his contract, leaving Bournemouth shorthanded in their battle to stay up. Many fans felt his actions were selfish and disloyal after the club had developed him into a Premier League player. What do you think, Bournemouth fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Nottingham Forest, we have David Platt. David Platt was Nottingham Forest's player manager. He made zero impact on the pitch and plunged the club into mountains of debt as manager. He spent several millions on poor players and singled out some of the most important players by leaving them isolated from a first-team picture. What do you think, Nottingham Forest fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. For Brentford, we have Ivan Toney. Ivan Toney had 4 exceptional years for Brentford, firing them into the Premier League and consolidating their spot. However, Toney's consistent comments about wanting to leave and play for a top club before he moved to Saudi Arabia rubbed Brentford fans up the wrong way, making him look disrespectful to the club and the fans. Toney was left out of some games toward the end of the 23-24 season, and some fans still can't accept how he left. What do you think, Brentford fans? Is he the most hated player of your club, or is it someone else? Tell us in the comments. And there you have it, the most hated players from each Premier League club. Whether it was a shocking transfer, a string of red cards, or just plain attitude, these names are etched in fan memories for all the wrong reasons. Who do you think got off easy? Or who deserves to be on this list even more? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this dive into football's most controversial figures, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell, because this was just the beginning